Open Offers is finally here in the city of Toronto. In fact, all of Ontario, and it's rolling out through a program called Final Offer. And I've decided that I want to be a first mover on this. I want to make this a platform that our sellers have access to on top of the traditional MLS. I think as buyers and sellers start using it, they're going to realize that this way of buying and selling real estate is better for everybody. It's more transparent. It's very clear. There's no wondering like, oh, well, what if that had happened or this had happened? It's right there in front of you. But this is something that's being rolled out first for real estate agents, and not every agent's even using it, but they eventually will. But the reason I wanted to put out this video today is because you guys watching me, you're the consumers, you're the buyers, you're the sellers, the people that are going to be buyers and sellers at some point in the future. I want you to understand this program, how it works, because if you are vocal about the fact that you want to use a program like this to buy or sell your house, you're going to force all the big players in the real estate industry to get on board. And I think that is going to be great. I interviewed Nathan Dart and I asked him all the questions I thought would be questions that maybe you would want the answer to. So please watch this interview. Let me know in the comments if you have any questions at all. All right, Nathan, thank you for joining me. This is really exciting. We've been talking about Final Offer for a long time. I've seen it in my YouTube comments that people are like, blind bidding is the problem. We need to open it up. We need more transparency. Transparency is now here. And I know as we're rolling out Final Offer, specifically in the city of Toronto with our brokerage, people have a lot of questions. So I'm just going to pepper you with questions if you're okay with that today.
Absolutely. Wouldn't have it any other way.
Okay, so Nathan Dart is the Senior Vice President of Final Offer. Me and Nate go back, almost a decade now, knowing each other in real estate through conferences and coaching and mentorship. So it's really cool that you're one of the people behind this. So on a very high level, for people watching this that are buyers or sellers or going to be buyers and sellers in the next 5 years, what is Final Offer?
What Final Offer is Final Offer is an offer negotiation platform. It allows buyers, sellers, and agents to be able to negotiate their real estate transactions with complete transparency. Why is this important? Is obviously right now in our industry, we've got a bit of a problem. That problem is the lack of trust, and trust equals transparency. And so we must bring transparency back into the offer negotiations. But why is that important for the sellers? Well, sellers, their number one concern is they just want to ensure that they sell their home for the most amount of money possible with the very best terms. With Final Offer, we allow and demand competition because it's only through competition will the seller demand the very best price with the very best terms. But we can't forget there's somebody else on the other side of this transaction. The other person on the other side of the transaction is the buyer. What's the number one concern for the buyer? The buyers, they never want to feel as if they're in a position where they're overpaying for the property that they ultimately desire. Plus, they want a fair chance in order to compete for the property they desire. But when they can negotiate the real estate transaction with complete transparency, they have the ultimate decision to decide to pay more if they choose and have a fair shot to be able to do it because they can know what they have to compete against in order to earn the property that they ultimately desire. So when they can see the other offers that they're competing against, they never feel as if they're overpaying.
Now, on the buyer side of things, now some of the feedback that we've heard, I know what was behind even Final Offer being built out as a software, was that buyers felt like the system wasn't working for them. It's like, okay, they would maybe register an offer. It was blind bidding. They'd lose. They'd be told there was this many offers, but there's no way of confirming it. So just for a buyer's perspective here, why should they want to go through the Final Offer platform to make an offer on the property they want versus the traditional way of submitting it through email to the other real estate agent, waiting to hear back? You're like sitting there trying to figure out what's going on. Like, why is Final Offer better?
Well, I'd take it down to two scenarios for buyers especially. If you as a buyer, have you ever been in a position where you were bidding for a home? You did not get the home that was your dream home, the one home that you had to have, you didn't get. You find out later after the property closes that the person that won only paid maybe $1,000, maybe $5,000 over what you had bidded. And you go to your agent and you say, you know what, if I would have known that all I had to do was pay an additional $5,000 and I could have secured that property, well, I would have done that. So when you're blind bidding, that's the disadvantage that buyers have. But second to that is, unfortunately, too, some buyers are also concerned to whether or not their offer was ever received by the listing agent. And not only received by the listing agent, but was the offer itself ever conveyed to the seller the way that buyer intended that offer to be conveyed. See, with Final Offer, as soon as you submit an offer on Final Offer, it immediately goes not only to the listing agent, but also goes to the seller, the buyer's agent, and the buyer, keeping everybody informed in regards to what is happening within the transaction in real time. And as offers are continuing to be received on final offer, that buyer, that buyer's agent, the seller, and the listing agent are all notified in real time as offers come in, and any offers are updated within the listing, keeping everybody very well informed.
And what about a buyer who's maybe like they're getting pre-approved right now? They're not going to buy for maybe 3 to 6 months, but they want to get comfortable with this platform. Can they go on to final offer now, start watching properties, and in real time get updates? Because leading up to this, it's like you get an update from an app that we have in our market that would tell you what the property sold for, right? But you didn't know when an offer was registered, let alone like what the other offers were. So what's that process like? If I'm right now watching this thinking like, okay, I'm not ready yet, but I want to figure this out, what can I learn as a potential buyer to get on the site now?
Yes, well, we are live in Ontario. So for you as that buyer that's just investigating, trying to get an education to what is going on in the marketplace, you yourself can go into Final Offer right now. When you go to finaloffer.com, the first question that they're going to ask you is, are you working with an agent? If you are working with an agent, just go ahead and type in your agent's name, contact information, and then you'll be connected to your agent, right? If you don't currently have an agent, that is okay. What's going to happen is you're going to be then connected to the listing agent. Reason why is we're going to be able to keep you informed. We need your contact information, not so we can solicit you or send you ads and all that kind of stuff. It's just to keep you informed in real time in the geographical location that you may be considering, or maybe it's a subject property that you like and you want to keep informed in regards to what is happening with that property as they receive offers, as offers come in, and ultimately what does the property sell for. But as a buyer, it's an opportunity just to get educated because it's so important when you're looking to buy a home. Well, one of the largest investments you'll ever have to make, to truly educated not only to what is going on in the marketplace, but what does the competition look like in real time? What are you going to have to prepare yourself for in order to earn the home that you desire in this very competitive market that we're in?
There's been so many times that even me from afar, like being in the industry, selling real estate day to day, seeing a property that sells and being like, I wonder what happened there. Like that price maybe didn't make sense on the high end or the low end. Like what happened? But I didn't know what all the offers looked like and I couldn't see what was going on. So I think that transparency alone is going to be a great thing. Now, as a seller in right now in the Ontario market, and we're rolling this out, we're being first movers on this in the Toronto market with our team. If my seller's sitting with me and saying, Tom, okay, we're going to go into the regular MLS like we always do, and that's great, and that will get exposure, and we could sell it that way, why is Final Offer an additional tool that I'd be open to using or not open to using? Like, is there any, what are the questions like when that comes up?
Yeah, it comes down to a couple of different factors. Number one, just for marketing alone. What we find when using Final Offer, we have a value add, a value prop that nobody else has as far as a platform. To be able to tell the consumers that you have a listing, that you're willing to expose the offers if it meets the seller's minimum committed offer price and terms, and show them in real time as offers are received, more buyers, more consumers are going to be inclined to then want to watch and see what's going on with your particular listing, drawing more activity around your listing. But what it also does is engages those buyers that maybe not quite were ready to look at the time that this is going on, but they say, wait a second, I didn't know that property was one on the market, and then two, I didn't know that I could have gotten it at that price. So what you're doing is you're attracting a lot more qualified buyers by being able to advertise it on Final Offer for one. But then two, you're also showing the consumers and the agents alike that we're able to streamline the offer process, making it simple but also responsible for people to be able to make offers. The only offers that we're receiving are from qualified, verified buyers. They're not fake offers. They're not there to waste your time. That the offers that you're receiving as a seller are coming from qualified buyers that are meeting at least your minimum price and terms in order for you to have to consider committing to accepting those offers. So it streamlines the offer process, making it easier for buyers and agents to make those offers. But then two, because we're able to expose the transparency of what's going on in the offer negotiations around your listing, it's attracting more buyers because buyers want to know what is happening, and we're the only place that they can actually truly see it in real time.
And if I'm a seller and I'm putting my property on Final Offer and on the MLS, I don't have to sell it through Final Offer, right? It's there if I need it, and because as this is new, right? And the open offers is still a new thing in our market. Not every buyer is even going to be comfortable going that route yet. So you don't have to do it that way. But can you actually sell your property on Final Offer without making the offers open? Could you do that as well if you chose to do it that way?
You absolutely can. And by keeping your offers closed, it still streamlines the offer process. And while your offers are closed, what then happens? Offers are received, and all it does is show a timestamp of the day and the time that the offer is received. It does not expose the price and the terms of the offer. So yes, you can still use final offer. What it does is just keeps everybody informed that the offer was in fact received with a timestamp of when it was received. So you as a buyer, you don't have to question whether or not the offer was actually received and or conveyed to that of the listing agent or the seller.
Now, on final offer as a seller, if I choose to use the full potential of the platform, I can have a price that is my minimum committed price. And if that price is offered, then it opens up the open side of things and everyone can see everything. And then I'd love to know, like, so let's say there's a property and my minimum price is $750. Okay, if $750 is submitted, what happens next?
Yes. So we've got three different pricing strategies. You've got a list price, you've got a seller committed price, and then you have a final offer price. Now, let me start with the list price. What is a list price? Tom, to your example there, say you have a property that's listed at $750,000. If you received an offer today for $750,000 and it was clean, no conditions at all, are you as the agent or the seller obligated to accepting that offer?
No.
The answer is no. So what is a list price? A list price is just an advertising price. It's just a marketing price. So with final offer, we believe in transparency and we want to be able to set proper expectations for everybody involved in the transaction. So within final offer, we've also added a seller committed price, which is what you just suggested. A seller committed price is a price in which the seller states that if somebody gives me an offer at this price, say once again, it could be at $750, it could be more, it could be a different number. But whatever that seller committed price is, if somebody gives them that price and it's clean, no conditions, the seller will commit to not only exposing that offer to everybody that is watching that particular property, but also opens up an offer window clock, exposing that offer for a set period of time and or days that's determined by the seller and the agent to expire at whatever time that may be, allowing everybody else the opportunity to come in and make an offer on that particular property. But in order for them to make an offer, they not only have to get pre-qualified, have to be approved by the agent, showing that they have the financial ability or what have you to be able to purchase the property, giving confidence that all offers are received, had to go through the same rigorous qualifications in order to be able to make the offer. But those offers now have to come in for at least 0.5% higher than what we currently have exposed. Not wasting anybody's time to make offers that are even less than that, because what's the point of that, right? Yep. So it continues to allow people to make those offers at least 0.5% higher. But what we're talking about, Tom, is we're talking about just the price. And you and I both know, as seasoned professionals in the industry, is when identifying the very best contract to take for our clients, it doesn't always come down to price. We also have to evaluate the conditions of it within that offer. So within final offer, meeting with our sellers, we're able to truly align ourselves as a negotiator, listening to what's important to our sellers, and then packaging and setting proper expectation for the consumers that are making offers. Within final offer, we set a seller committed price, but we also add in terms. And what these terms mean is we say, hey, Mr. or Mrs. Seller, what they're saying is if any buyer is interested in making an offer on final offer on this particular property, if you choose to have a financing appraisal condition, that's fine. But if you do on this particular property compared to any other offer, our sellers are going to devalue your offer by, say, $5,000. Same thing when it comes to a home inspection, as an example. If somebody had an inspection condition, which they're welcome to have, but if they chose to have that inspection condition, we would devalue their offer by $2,500. It is with these conditions that we set, devaluing those conditions sets expectations so consumers know how our seller is going to rank offers as they come in, setting proper expectations for everybody involved.
Because the question I get all the time as a listing agent here in the city of Toronto, other agents call me and they go, what's the exact closing date your clients want, right? Is it okay if this condition is this long, or would you like they ask all these questions. I love that we're just being upfront with it and saying like, listen, this is what we want. If you're interested in this, we're going to tell you, come and give it to us, right? I think it's great. Now we got the list price, the seller committed price, and then we've got this final offer price. And I guess the best way to talk about it is the buy now button, right, on eBay. Yes. That's a good way to talk about it. So if I'm a buyer and I see this house and they're taking offers on final offer, and I don't want to deal with all this open offer and back and forth, and it's stressing me out, and maybe like this is the house I've been waiting for. Potentially, if the seller chose to put a final offer price, because not every property will have it on final offer, but if it's there, you'll see it.
Yes.
You click that button, that house is yours.
100%. I mean, how many times does a buyer say, you know, what is it going to take just so that I can earn this property? What is it going to take? I'll pay whatever. I love this. This is my dream home. Please tell me what I have to take, and I will make sure that I do that. Yeah. That's the final offer button, giving you ultimate control to be able to take the property off the market if you choose. But the thing is, for you as sellers, when picking a final offer price, we want to be mindful that the last thing you ever want to do is to undersell your property. So in a very competitive marketplace, you want to work with a specialist as your agent that knows your area, to know when you identify what the final offer price will be, that you're not pricing it too low. You're also not pricing it too high where it's not achievable, because when somebody hits the final offer button, not only are you getting that dream price that you desire, but you're also able to get it condition free. This is typically whatever you desire, as is, no inspections, no financing, free rent backs, whatever it is that you desire is built into that final offer price. But no, part of the strategy that your agent will be able to use when using final offer is before that final offer button is hit, if you choose to use it, which you do not have to do, at any point in time, your agent could raise the final offer price.
Okay.
They could remove the final offer price, or they could reduce it strategically. All giving the power to be able to, as the negotiations unfold, you can make the adjustments necessary to make sure that you're protected.
Now, is final offer an auction site? Is that what this technically is, or is it an offer negotiation site? Like, I think people have different opinions on this.
They certainly do, and for good reason. Final offer is not, let me be clear, not an auction platform. Can it create an auction experience through multiple offers coming in? Yes, but it is not an auction platform. What an auction platform is a seller determines a minimum reserve, in a sense, and then lets it run. So you basically put it on the auction, you set your price, and then it goes up from there. But see, during an auction or during multiple offers coming in, we as agents, we know there's way too many dynamics that occur within an active negotiation or in that of an auction. There's too many variables, such as the conditions, the timelines, what have you, to be able to protect our sellers, that we have to engage in the active negotiation. And when there's an auction occurring, us as agents, our hands are tied behind our back, and we cannot intercede where is necessary to see that our clients are fully protected. So also within an auction, a lot of the auction platforms that are currently in the marketplace, they do not require agents, which is very important. I do believe that you need to have representation from an agent that's going to look out for you for your best interests. With final offer, you have to use an agent in order to list on final offer, and they have that agent there to protect you through that active negotiation. So within final offer, we are an we're an offer negotiation platform that allows the agent and the seller to intercede through the negotiations to protect your best interest as a seller.
Final question for final offer. Did that on purpose. If I'm a buyer or a seller, do I have to pay my real estate agent extra to use this new platform versus the traditional way? Like, does it cost me anything more?
It does not. It does not. For you working with a buyer's agent to make an offer on a property, it does not cost your agent any money to be able to make an offer. It does not cost you as the buyer any money to be able to make the offer. For you as a seller, it does not cost you anything either. Your agent is making an investment for you to be exposed on final offer so you can demand the very best results for the sale of your home.
Is there anything I didn't ask you that you think this audience would want to know? Should they just go to finaloffer.com, click Ontario, start playing around with it and seeing what the experience is like? Like, what would be their first step?
Well, their first step would be, yes, go to finaloffer.com. You go ahead and sign in. Like I said, you're not in a position that we're going to be solicited by any means. You're only going to be able to go on to Final Offer just so that you can get real-time offer updates and alerts on the area that you desire. But it's only after you be able to connect yourself to the agent that you're working with. And as I said, if you're not working with an agent, that is okay. You would automatically be connected to the listing agent. You can ask them any questions. They're there to be a resource for you. But one thing I'd like to add is what we talked about when talking about a list price, a seller committed price, and a final offer price. It's also important for you to understand this, that anybody can make an offer on final offer. If it does not meet the seller committed offer price and terms, that is okay. You can still make an offer. When you make that offer, it just shows up as a proposed offer. Once again, showing the date and time the offer was received. But all it means is the seller is not in a position that they have to commit to either exposing that offer for X amount of days. And if no other offers come in, they don't have to commit to taking that offer. But during that period of time, if it comes in less than the seller committed price and terms, the seller, the buyer, they have an opportunity to be able to negotiate with each other, which is no different than how we traditionally do real estate and how we have been for years.
I think the timing of this rolling out is great because we're heading into a spring market where our active inventory for freehold property is extremely low right now in the city of Toronto. You know, condos are still very balanced out and you're not seeing as many multiple offers, but at some point that will change, right? So I think understanding how this works, prepping ourselves and starting to use it, even if you just get one offer on your house, you can still use final offer. Right? Like it doesn't have to be this multiple offer situation. So there's all these different ways you can use it. Nate, there's one more question I wanted to ask you. So if I'm meeting with a seller, why would they not want to use final offer? Like what would be stopping them from actually looking at this platform as a way to sell their property?
Well, it's a great question. It's a question I get from my sellers quite a bit because they just don't know what it is. And, you know, I spend a lot of time educating them about what the platform is. But here's the reality. Prior to me using final offer, in the DC Metro that I serve, the average agent in the DC Metro are selling their listings at 97% of the original list price. So they list their home. On average, they're selling for 3% under what they originally listed for. Prior to me using final offer, my listings, same area, would sell for 107% of the original list price. I was doing fine, traditionally selling real estate without final offer. But over the last 16 months that I've been using final offer, my listings are now selling for 112% of the original list price. Wow, the average agent, they're still selling their listings at 97% of list price. So when my sellers ask me, Nathan, why wouldn't I want to use final offer? To be honest, this is not a sales pitch. This is the reality. I say, well, you know, I don't know. I could tell you this. I guess if you're not interested in receiving an additional 5% on the sale of your house that I could not have otherwise gotten you traditionally, then yeah, I don't think you need to use final offer. I haven't had a seller disagree with that statement as of yet, but hey, that's up for everybody to decide on their own. Final offer is a great tool for people to use, but yes, you have to be comfortable with understanding the process. It does work, and the results, they speak for themselves.
And even for buyers, there's so many times throughout my career where a buyer goes like, oh man, I would have paid that. And I've seen it in the comments on this channel. People are like, if it was open and transparent, I'd feel a little bit okay paying a little bit more because I knew where all the other offers actually stood. And I think that makes a big difference. So thank you, Nate, so much for being here. And if anyone has questions about final offer, please let us know in the comments below. Hope you enjoyed that interview. I'm really excited about this platform moving forward. I think it will make a difference in the transparency in the industry. My name's Tom Storey, and remember, home is where your story begins.